Yo, what's going on, guys? Let's talk about the patch 11.3 best compositions for teamfight tactics. It's a bit of a weird patch because we got a lot of reroll. I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but like everyone's playing reroll right now. There are still other 4-cost carries you could go for. That is Kayle, that is Olaf, and Slayers are either a Dragonsoul. There's also Aurelion Soul in the Mage Elderwood comp, and like the worst one's Talon. It's still doable, but it is the worst 4-cost carry. But after that, like you're pretty much re-rolling in like half or more than half of your games. Starting at the top, Nidalee chosen, so Warlord or Sharpshooter. She works in both, and she's really, really powerful in it. You put on like some mana items, some ability power items, maybe like a Rage Blade for attack speed, and she just like throws out spears constantly. She keeps getting mana constantly from the Sharpshooter bonus and Shojin, and things just die. After that, Duelist Yasuo, really good. You could also go Fiora. Reroll Nasus, we already talked about these two. Brawler Shyvana, that's a 3-star reroll. And then reroll Diana's, like she's the best of the worst rerollers, or the worst of the best, depending how you look at it. For example, she's better than like all the other ones beneath in the B tier and C tier. So reroll Mage. Brand actually is a very interesting reroll that you guys can also play. Dragonsoul, they use Tristana reroll. Zed, that's a 2-star reroll. Fabled Vanguard Mystic, you reroll for Nautilus and for Nico. Enlightened Talon, they could use reroll Fiora as a tank, and then Assassins is reroll Kayle. And then Cultists, don't play them. Like I know some people are religious, but right now in TFT, there are just no prayers allowed right now. So check out all the other links down here if you guys want to learn a little bit more on the website, BunnyMuffins.lol. But let's get into how to play every comp. So Executioner Kayle. Luckily for this one, we had a rank 1 player make a guide for us on this. So you guys can check out that guide on the website. I also made a video guide, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have saw before. But I'll do like a quick intro to this. You play like 4 Executioner or 2 Executioner, and then you put in stuff like Adept is really good for your front line. You get 4 Divine. You could do like Duelist Kayle. Like Spatulas are really good in this comp because you could do all sorts of crazy stuff there. You put some attack speed items on Kayle. RFC is great, but not necessary. And then Zeke's Herald, really good to complement her. And this one's like follows like a standard leveling pattern, so you don't need to do any of the reroll, hyper roll, or slow roll leveling patterns. You just stabilize your board at either 6, 7, try to go 8, get the 2 stars of everything, and then if you can, go 9 and try to win the game from there. Onto the Warlord build, reroll Nidalee. Oh no, I did not put the items on Nidalee. Let's take a look at her down here because they use the same items. It's just Shojin, Quicksilver Sash, Rage Blade. You could also do Jeweled Gauntlet. That's really good too. But pretend this is the Warlord board with the Nidalee items. I'll try to add this next time. But you have a lot of different options for carries here, which is really, really nice. You could use Katarina carry. You could use Nidalee carry. You could use Samira or even Tryndamere carry. I've seen that work too. But the 2 most popular ones are Katarina and Nidalee. And yeah, you don't need to go Nidalee reroll to go 6 Warlords. So that's a great thing about Warlords. You kind of just need a Warlord chosen, but you don't necessarily need to 3-star anything. 3-star Cat is really nice, but it's like a luxury rather than like a necessity. But if that's the case, you'll probably need a 2-star Samira. So like the win conditions for this comp, or like stuff that you need, like there are different options for it. So you could either go 3-star Kayle, 2-star Samira, or 3-star Nidalee. All 3 of them are really good. Maybe you even get like a combination of them. That one's obviously going to be the strongest. But this one, it follows standard leveling patterns unless you want to slow roll for Nidalee 3-star. So you could do either or. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the comp. Sharpshooters, same thing, except you're just re-rolling for Nidalee. You could either play like 4 to 6 Sharpshooters. You don't need 6, but sometimes it's like fun to have just because you see a lot of spears. But an interesting version I have down here is 4 Sharpshooter, 4 Keeper with 2 Vanguards. And this one's really good because you get a lot of tanks, so it buys a lot of time for your Nidalee to really just destroy everyone eventually. And then the leveling pattern for this, you definitely want to do the reroll version right now because Nidalee 3-star, that's like the only reason why you go for this. The rest of the Sharpshooter comps are kind of lackluster. Duelists, this one needs no introduction. We've been playing this for a whole set from before, and it's just 3-star Yasuo, 3 items on Yasuo, fast 7 or fast 8, or even fast 9, depending on how strong your opponents are. Add in either 6 Duelists, do 4 Duelists, 4 Divine, or do 4 Duelists, 4 Enlightened. My friend played a game of this on my Masters reroll video, so if you want like a example of how to play this, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, pretty simple. You just slow roll at level 5. I know a lot of people in the comments, they're asking what slow rolling is. So slow rolling, it's a strategy to get as many 3-stars as possible for like, or getting like a specified 3-star unit. And you need 9 copies of a unit to get a 3-star. So the way it works is that if you check out the cheat sheet that we have here at the top, You can see that we have champion roll odds and the pool size. So there are only 29 one-cost units. So that means if we're looking for Yasuo, there are only 29 of them. And the way the economy works and the way passive leveling works, we can't always maximize our rolling for him at levels 1 and 2, where we can only see one-cost units in our shop. So instead, we wait until level 5 because we have above 50 gold at this point, and then we just roll down to 50 every turn in order to try to find Yasuo. It doesn't have to be Yasuo, it could be any 1-star unit that you're looking for. So if we're thinking of like optimal levels to reroll for certain characters, you either do, for the 1 cost, it's level 5, for the 2 cost, it's level 6 or level 7. Most people do level 7 because there are a lot of other units that you need, such as like a 4 cost unit. For example, if you're doing reroll Zed and you want to go ninjas, you need the Shen at level 7. It's really hard to hit him at level 6. After that, for 3 costs, if you're doing something like Shyvana, level 7's really good. I know that there's a higher chance of getting 3-star or 3-cost units at level 8, but you don't have that much economy to get to level 8 and roll for 3-star Shyvana, so most people do that at level 7. This goes for the Nico build as well. And then, yeah, those are the 3 leveling patterns that you normally do. So for 1 cost, it's typically on level 5. For 2 costs, it's typically on level 7. And for 3 costs, it's typically on level 7. Sometimes you could go level 8 and slow roll for it. I did that in my Shyvana game in the Masters video that I talked about before. But that game was an anomaly, and you don't always get to get that big of an advantage into to be able to go to level 8 and be able to slow roll afterwards. So going back into the other builds, did I skip some? No, we're on the A tiers now. So reroll Nasus, yes, just reroll. Best in slot Nasus, I think, is Titans, Jeweled Gauntlet. Morgana's a nice complementary unit, and then Siphoner Chosen is the best Nasus, but if you get Divine, you could still go for this composition. You just need to get lucky to get a Swain later in the game, so that's why you generally prefer to just have Siphoner Chosen, and then you just drop Vladimir once you get Swain. However, since you're rerolling, sometimes you do hit 3-star Vladimir. In that case, you would just keep the Vladimir. And Vladimir uses the same items as Nasus. Vladimir is like super OP at 3-star, by the way, even at 2-star, in the mid game at least. You put like Titans on him as well, he'll kill everything. Like Titans is just so good in the Siphoner builds, but you really need that 4 Siphoner power spike and the at least 1 Titans on Nasus or Vladimir. After that, we go into the Slayer build. This is when we go into some of the 4 costs. So we had the Kayle before, now we have the Slayers after we went through like 5 reroll comps. 2 different versions, 3 or 6 Slayer. I personally like 3 Slayer a little more. I've seen some people experiment with 6 Slayer, but I feel like it's a little weaker because the Slayer units are kind of not that great, you know? But ironically, the best chosen for the 3 Slayer version is actually Dragonsoul. That way, when you get Swain, Olaf has a Dragonsoul trait. And yeah, you could only do that with Chosen Dragonsoul because you don't want to run another dragon unit. Because the dragon units, they're typically like not that great if you don't itemize them. If we look into the 6-layer builds, that's just throwing everyone in. You could do like Zed also instead of one of these characters, such as Tryndamere. If you get like a 3-star Zed early, you could complement it with an Olaf later with 6-layer. I've seen some people do that. It looks pretty good. But Olaf's best items, Deathblade Runons, Rapid Fire Cannon's really good on him, Hand of Justice, Infinity Edge, Guardian Angel, all good stuff on him. This one's following, again, the standard leveling pattern because we're looking for 4-cost carries. And yeah, that's pretty much the comp. So Mage Elderwood, I'm not going to go too in detail with this because we have a full guide on this already, which you guys can check out. But this one's just standard leveling. You try to get the power spike with 6 Elderwood, 5 Mage at around like level 8. And this typically happens around stage 4. And you can hit it without even having a Chosen, which is the best part about it, assuming you get like a Spatula for Aurelion Soul. Going into the next composition, we have the Brawler Shyvana. This one's really easy to play. It's also one of my favorite because I think Shyvana is just such a cool champion. Shyvana, she just kills everything. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I mean, yeah, she goes off and then she kills everything. Obviously, Giant Slayer counters this composition because Giant Slayer deals bonus damage to high health targets, and Brawlers, they have a lot of health. Zed's also pretty good against Brawlers because he steals attack damage, but I've seen Shyvana just kill Zed regardless, even though he steals a lot of attack damage. So it really just depends on how strong your comp is. Afterwards, we have the Diana reroll. Diana got some nerfs because Spirit got nerfed, so this comp isn't as strong. I've actually seen people experiment with 2 Spirit, 6 Assassin instead of going 4 Spirit. Interesting variation. If you guys want to try that out, let me know how it goes if you do test it out in the comments. But this comp is really easy. You just get a Chosen Diana, reroll for it, throw some items on her, and then just like get a free top 4. Going into the B tiers, Brand Reroll. I know this comp isn't fully built out, but you just throw any tanks with this. So you could go like Vanguards, you could go like pretty much anything, or even go into other variations of the builds above, which use 3 mages. But Brand with Ludens is really, really strong. He just one-shots a lot of things. Another interesting item on Brand is Giant Slayer. Giant Slayer is really strong in reroll metas, and add that to the fact that Brand always targets the highest health target. So Giant Slayer loves high health targets, so Brand automatically targets them with his ability. So it's a great combination that's like kind of wasn't built early because like when you think of Giant Slayer, it's attack speed and attack damage. That doesn't really fit on a Brand who's a caster, right? But since his ability targeting works in such a specific way, it's actually a pretty good item on him. So you could go like Ludens, Jeweled Gauntlet, Giant Slayer. That's really good for a 3-star Brand. Going into the next comp, Dragonsoul. This is another one of the Olaf builds. Your Chosen, luckily, in this comp doesn't matter, so it's pretty flexible in terms of Chosen. You could go Dragonsoul, Mage, Sharpshooter, or Slayer Chosen. You could do Reroll Tristana with this with like a Rage Blade and Quicksilver Sash. You could do stuff like Aurelion Soul Carry and maybe pivot back into the Elderwood composition. Tons of different options here, but let's say you're going for the Elderwood composition initially and then you get a ton of bows. You could transition into the Olaf 6 Dragon Soul. That one works really well because you'll already have the Aurelion Soul and they use the same items, and then you just throw the bows onto Olaf. It's a pretty fun comp. It hasn't been explored that much because Dragon Soul was kind of weak in the past few patches, so if you guys want to try it out, definitely go for it and let me know how it goes. Next up, we have Zed. Zed got worse because Spirit got nerfed, so he just doesn't shred through everyone quite as quickly. So that's why he moved down from like the S tier from before. The Spirit version is better than Ninja, but since Spirit got nerfed, you have a bunch of Akali items. You could try Ninja and do it more often than you did in the previous patch. After that, Fabled, Vanguard, Mystic. This one is the slow roll with Nico 3, Nautilus 3. Throw a bunch of items on them and like have a good laugh. You know, I've figured out that Guardian Angel is probably one of the best items on Nico because she dies really often for some reason. I have no idea why, but whenever I play her, she just dies. Even if I completely surround her. Right now, I have like my front line in the front, but even when I move everyone in the back rows, she still dies. I have no idea why. It's to like area of effect abilities or like random targeting. So Guardian Angel, what it means is that if she casts right before she dies, while she's in the Guardian Angel revive, her spell keeps like blasting everyone, and then she comes back, throws another one, and hopefully kills them. So that's why it's really good on her. Jeweled Gauntlet, obviously the best mage item because it adds the most damage. And then for third item, you could do stuff like Hextech Gunblade, Morello Namakon's okay. Hand of Justice is really good. I should probably remove Morello Namakon. It's not as great as the other items, but I'll do that next week. So next up, Enlightened Talon, the classic build from last set. The only difference is you play Nasus instead of Lux. It's pretty good right now, but you need a Giant Slayer because everyone's rerolling. Giant Slayer is the best item against that. You also really need a Morello Namakon on Morgana, and then apart from that, just any sword items on Talon will work beautifully. Not much else to say here apart from the fact that you could add in the 3-star Fiora if you rerolled in the beginning of the game for the Fiora, in which case like you could run 4 or 6 Enlightened, and like she's a really good tank. Like it's pretty slept on in my opinion. After that, Assassins. This one is just a Akali carry. Really good Akali items are like Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, Blue Buff, and Quicksilver Sash. You actually don't need the Blue Buff anymore because they changed her mana lockup, so Blue Buff doesn't work as well on her as she did before. But you just go like 6 Assassin, 4 Ninja, and then she one-taps a bunch of people. I would like not play that comp that much though, unless you get really good starts for it though, just because it's inconsistent compared to everything else. We don't play Cultists, I already explained before, so just skip over that. I updated the item priority list, so it's still Bow best item because when Kayle and Olaf are so strong, Titan's Resolve is really good. Like I can't think of an item built from Bow which is like absolutely horrible. I guess like there's some like worse ones, but nothing that's like super, super, super bad. And you always need a lot of bows if you're building Rapid Fire Cannon. Glove's really good for Hand of Justice. Sword is good because Giant Slayer, Infinity Edge, Hextech Gunblade, Guardian Angel, Shojin, Zeke's. Like the only bad item from Sword is Bloodthirster. Rod's really good early game if you want to do like Locket Spams, Jeweled Gauntlet, Rage Blade, Hextech Gunblade. Like even an Ionic Spark or Ludens for Brand is pretty interesting. Then after that, it's like you kind of want to avoid those. But Bow is by far the best item because Kayle is just that strong. I updated the item chart down here too. This one shows the like how versatile each item is and how strong they are, and compares them on one singular chart. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested in knowing what items to build. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this week. Let's do a quick rundown. And well, like, I know a lot of people, they look at TFT and then they're like, what's the best comp to go? But in reality, with the chosen mechanic, you can't really choose which comp to go for. So even if there is a strong comp, you can't choose to go for it, because if you hit a chosen for something else, you need to go that comp. So just focus on what chosens you get. If you get like one of the rerolls I talked about earlier, just go for it. Sometimes you don't hit, but like it's really rare that you don't hit nowadays because of Lucky Lantern, and like you get stuff like loaded dice, which increase your chance of getting 3-star units. So like if you're getting a Nidalee chosen early, like just force a Nidalee build. If you're getting a Yasuo chosen early, just force the Yasuo build. So what this means is that do not level up early just in case you get a chance to reroll. That's pretty much the meta right now. I know a lot of people don't like reroll metas, but there are some who like really love it. So if that's one of you guys, like definitely keep playing on this patch. I'll be releasing a guide on how to play the Warlord build, and that guide is made with a rank 1 player. So hopefully I'll be able to release that video soon. But yeah, apart from that, I'll see you guys next week. If you guys are new, go ahead, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.